Hi all, I wanted to make a quick development video. So our early access is coming along and I think we'll be able to announce a specific date soon. But for this video I want to show off just a few small additions. So we added smooth locomotion to VR. So if you can see, I'm walking in the direction my hand is pointed, and that's the left thumbstick, and then the right thumbstick does a 45-degree snap turn. And it's nice because you can switch between smooth locomotion and teleport just by clicking down on the thumbstick. So I like to use it with big movements, I'll teleport, and then just little movements, I'll use the smooth locomotion. And then we've also added a new diagnosis mechanic. So I really don't want wrench part diagnosis or problem diagnosis to be entirely visual. So this is a system to allow you to rattle parts. And there's a couple different ways a part can rattle. So if you see I'm trying to grab that control arm, it's not rattling. I'm going to use a dev tool to break that bushing. And once I break the bushing, I'll be able to rattle it. So at each end of the rattle distance, it plays the sound effect and a little haptic feedback in the controller. And if I break both of them, it'll rattle a little bit more. So there's a couple ways a part can rattle. One is a worn part can contribute rattle to a part, so in this case the bushing. So you can imagine things like motor mounts or worn eccentric bolts, things like that. But the other way is if the fasteners that hold the part down are only partially installed, or there's a bunch of them missing. And that's just a little polish item. So here I'm going to switch over to 2D mode, get out of VR. And in this case, if I come over, I can fail a motor mount. And you can see that the engine can be rattled. So I failed the part, and now if I grab the engine, I can rattle it. And then see the valve cover I can't move right now. If I break off a bunch of the bolts, or loosen a bunch of them, and in this case we have it set up so you have to loosen at least half of them, it'll start to rattle just a little bit, and then as you loosen more and more bolts, the rattle size will become larger and larger. And this is a gameplay mechanic we can adapt to more things later, like you can imagine things like crankshaft end play. If you're missing bearings, having a bunch of slop, reproducing rod knock for inspection. And at some point we might do something like a dead blow hammer or something, so you can go around the underside of the car and smack stuff with a hammer to try to find loose parts.